What's going on, guys? Shady, Mike, and let's just say I'm very happy to bring you guys the next version of my slider set. Super excited about this. Been a long time coming now. For everyone that knows the drill, the sliders are in the description, and they are on PC 2K Share under hashtag Shady. And usually at this point, if you've been following me for a while, I'll say, if you don't want to hear me rant, you can just go check the sliders out and go get them on 2K Share and click off the video. But this time I'm going to say hang out for a little bit. I do have something to say to everyone, and that is simply thank you so much for the support. Thank you so much for everyone that's been following this channel for a long time. Thank you so much to everyone who just gets it and knows what goes into this stuff. You know, I gotta say, this is to put it lightly, this has been a tumultuous year for sliders in NBA 2K20. I mean, I don't know if I'll be exaggerating if I said at this point I feel like tweaking sliders is somewhat of a part-time job, but the rewards are so benefiting. I really do love 2K. I love you guys. I love the community. This is what I do, and this is what people have come to expect, and I'm just glad to be able to provide again for another year. This time a set that has really come together. I won't say that it's perfect, but it's really come together this year, and I've been having a blast playing this game. And in a point in time where around maybe November, December, I thought, wow, 2K20, this is a lost year. This is going to be a game I can't play, I can't enjoy, because I can't get it playing to where I like it. And but with some hard work and some input from a lot of different people, we're here, and I'm very happy about that, and I'm excited to share with you guys what I've come up with so far. And I want to also say, if you guys do appreciate the grind, appreciate the hard work, and want to come along for this journey and see where we're at, please hit the like button on the video. Shows the support, and subscribe. Really appreciate you guys subscribing to the channel for more content. So without further ado, let's get into the sliders. I want to talk a little bit just about the philosophy. You guys, especially if you follow me on Twitter, know what this is about. The number one goal of my sliders, and this is really what I wanted to address. I often get asked, why don't you collab with so-and-so? Why don't you collab with so-and-so? And why don't you check out this person's things? Well, there's really two reasons I don't collab with people, and it's not that I'm better than anyone or that I do things better than anyone, but it's simple. I haven't found anyone trying to do what I'm trying to do with the sliders, and to be honest, that kind of bothers me. And it always comes down to three. For me, my sliders has come down to three main things: helping guys hit the shots that they hit in NBA games, meaning contested shots. Real field goal percentage is always kind of the base of my set. I don't use shot stick timing. I don't like shot stick timing. I don't like the skill aspect of it. The players are the skill. I want my experience to be, judged by ratings, and so that's just a personal preference. Doesn't mean it's right, doesn't mean it's wrong. I'm not a fan, just not a fan of shot stick timing. Anyone that follows the channel knows that already, trust me. And if you're new, that's the reason, because I want to reflect NBA basketball and those ratings as much as possible. That's always been a really big part of the set. And then number three, I don't really see guys trying to fix issues in the way that I try to fix issues. And I start the same, my process the same way every single year. I get the game, install the game, turn the game on, put it on Hall of Fame, and play a game. Play 2 games, play 5 games, play 10 games, play 20 games, right? And as I'm playing those games, I go back and watch NBA basketball, go to NBA basketball games, and you'll start to, I say, hey, what about this doesn't look like that? What about 2K doesn't look like NBA basketball? And I try to make those adjustments to fit that goal, to make it be as close to NBA basketball as possible. The number one thing that pops out to me this year, and though we're getting better, but the number one thing is the contested shots. You can't hit shots in the game that guys hit in real life. You'd think it'd be the other way around because it's a video game and you want arcade, but I've always said someone standing in front of you with a hand up. I mean, I'm sure I could stand in front of Kevin Durant and put a hand up and he'd hit 100 shots out of 100. You know, my motto, and I always say it and I always stick to it, is the presence of a defender does not equal good defense. And as someone who played basketball, and I consider myself a darn good defender, I know what it's about to get into a shooter's pocket and to bother somebody's shot. But I also know that there's some guys that no matter what you do, they're hitting that shot, and I want my sliders to always replicate that. The other thing, simply put, it's easy. You play a game. There's really only 3, 4, 5 teams in the league that shoot as many threes as they need to. The Bucks and Rockets and Warriors come to mind because their tendencies are right. I've tried tirelessly to change that with sliders, but I've realized you can only get so close. And I've done my best, and I think I've done pretty good. I'll leave that to you guys, but there does have to be a certain level of adjustment to roster tendencies to get guys shooting the 3 ball in spots where they need to be shooting the 3 ball, because the CPU doesn't shoot the 3 ball because they have what I call the old mindset. Because there's a guy, oh, he's a little bit close to me, I'm not wide open, I'm not going to shoot it. But you know, with my slider set, I'm trying to kind of get away from that mentality. I want to get it closer to, I mean, shoot, it is what it is. Guys in the NBA, the person I always think about is Robert Covington. I don't care who's in front of that man. When he catches the ball, he's putting it up. And that's kind of what I want to be reflected in the slider set. So a couple of main huge changes coming to the set. Things that I've been testing for a long time, but, you know, really changed everything. This game plays so much better with the vertical slider at 0. It opens the game up, and I don't want to say it takes away from the athleticism, but it takes away some of that weird, unrealistic, herky-jerky jolts that some players get. And it's crazy how I found this out. It was so funny. I had posted a video on Twitter at Shady Mike Gaming. Shameless plug. Follow me on Twitter. I had posted a video of Ben Simmons blocking an alley-oop, and he jumps to block the alley-oop, and when I tell you the rim was like right here, he had his entire shoulders above the rim, and I'm like, why is that even possible? I'm turning the vertical down, and I noticed a plethora of other benefits to the game after I turned the vertical down. I said, I really like this. I really like this movement, and I can't even play the game without that setting where it's at. It makes a huge difference. One thing I also wanted to talk about. Oh, and I'm sorry. And on that note, one thing that negatively did come as an effect of dropping the vertical was the blocks. Now, believe it or not, you actually get a lot better blocking animations, but what it requires, because we dropped the vertical slider, you have to kind of bump the block slider up to compensate for dudes not being able to jump through the roof anymore. Another thing, I've had 100, 200, 300, not really, I don't have that many viewers, but a whole bunch of people ask, hey, why do you have fatigue off? And I get almost like a blank stare, because I'm like, are y'all not seeing the issues that I'm seeing with fatigue on the default? If you play 2K, again, I play 12-minute quarters, so I don't know what everyone else is playing quarter-wise, but if you do play 2K 12-minute quarters with the fatigue where it's at, I mean, my starters are playing 28, 29, 31 minutes. Guys are getting pulled left and right. It really F's up the rotations. Like, it's terrible. And I also think it's a little bit unrealistic that I can do 1-2 crossovers and all of a sudden my guy can't even run. I mean, shoot, I could do a couple moves and still run back up the court. And these are NBA athletes that are, conditioned to the max. So I'm not a big fan of that. However, I made some adjustments to the fatigue. They're pretty extreme. I do have it back on for this update. I had a lot of people wondering about it, and I said I'm not bringing fatigue back until I can get it to a point where it's not ruining my rotations and ruining my gameplay. And I think from my testing, I've got it at a pretty good point. However, the fatigue aspect of it is not very drastic. So guys are still going to have quite a bit of energy coming up towards the end of games. And pretty much, obviously the elephant in the room is was I able to get teams shooting the right amount of 3-point shots? And the honest answer was no. I wasn't able to really get teams, the teams I was struggling with, to shoot the amount of threes they should be shooting. I think the lowest team in the league is shooting 29 threes a game at this point today. NBA average is about 36. Got the Rockets way up there shooting a whole bunch of threes, but that's something that's not going to work until we get into these tendencies. And that's why I tell you guys to subscribe and stay tuned, because going forward, the slider set's always going to be there, and we're always going to focus on keeping the slider set maintained. But from here, this set right here is an extremely strong base. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to develop almost maybe like a formula of how we need to edit players and how we need to edit guys globally across the league to get them shooting the right amount of threes in these NBA games to get closer to those averages. This set, what's really important is, and I actually have to give a shout out to some of my Twitter followers, because everyone told me, hey, try Pop Boy sliders, and again, that's where I go back into, I don't really like trying other people's stuff because we have different kind of philosophies and different goals. However, after I plugged his sliders in, I realized one thing that's really important is the first issue with the game is the CPU takes too many close shots. However, you cannot just put the close shot slider at 0, because when the CPU gets to the close range, they just freak out. And that's what I was noticing with my set, just to quote 2K, the brain neutral CPU when I had these sliders dropped all the way down. So I have to keep those sliders at a certain value, even though you want it to be as low as possible, where they at least know that they have the option to shoot that shot. And that's kind of what I've been seeing with the CPU, and why I have some of the numbers where they're at. Because you might look at this set and say, wow, this number is higher than it was in your last set, even though you said they were taking too many close shots. Yes, that's to kind of balance out the CPU and make them comfortable taking the shots that they need to take. Other than that, that is it. Stay tuned for what's to come. This slider set is a really solid place to be. But the roster tendencies and what we can come up with in terms of the rosters is really going to take this game up to the next level. So stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for what we can come up with. I know if you're on the PlayStation 4, there's already a couple people that have taken a shot at making a roster, but I want to try my hand at it. Some of the tests, as you guys saw in some of the videos I posted earlier in the week, the results are amazing. There was a video where the Celtics took 63s. So obviously that's a little bit excessive, but we're gonna get this game to where it needs to be. It's just this year it's taking a little bit longer to get there, and we're gonna have to take a different route too. I've never really been into rosters, but I think you guys will be pleasantly surprised when you see what I come up with, and when you see how much of an impact it makes. And hey, this is something that I hope it gets 2K's attention. I hope that there's attention to detail paid on the defense on the default roster going forward. You know, this isn't something that we should have to spend hours and hours doing. If Luka Doncic is taking 2 threes a game, if Harden is taking 2 threes a game, 2K should know that and know that there's an issue, or hire someone like myself who's spending hours and hours of trying to fix the issues. But other than that, guys, slides are in the description. They're also on NLSC. They're on PC2K Share under hashtag Shady. Hit me in the comments with how you do with them. Always love the feedback. But other than that, I'm out. Peace.